What you're looking at is the Porsche 911 Carrera GTS, and believe it or not, this £109,000 car is the mid-spec 911. It's available in either coupe, cabriolet or targa form, and its brief is to offer the sharpest and fastest 911 below the stupidly quick turbo models and track-focused GTs. You can tell the GTS apart from other Carrera models thanks to the black or darkened detailing seen on the centre-lock alloys, on the front spoiler lip and the headlight rims. Meanwhile, the cabin contains plentiful highlights of Racetec's microfiber material, darkened details and the option of the carbon bucket seats, which you'll probably either find very comfortable or very uncomfortable. And here's a treat: if you fancy the manual model, the gear lever throw has been shortened by 10mm over the previous model. All very promising indeed. So here we are, Porsche 911 Carrera GTS. Now, we've driven this car on the road, but we're also now driving it at Porsche's brand new Franciacorta track experience facility in northern Italy, and it is an absolutely incredible facility. But when it comes to the car, well, this sits pretty much in the middle of the 911 range. It's not the fastest, it's certainly not the slowest, but even with that in mind, the performance figures are incredible. I mean, 0 to 60, 2 miles an hour in 3.3 seconds. The power, 473 brake horsepower, which actually isn't that much less than a GT3. And, well, what else can we talk about? The Nürburgring time, 7 minutes. I think it's 7 minutes and 23 or 25 seconds. But either way, that's only 3 seconds away from a 911 Turbo S, which obviously has far, far more power than this thing. And while I was talking to the development driver who set the lap record in this car at the Nürburgring last night, he was saying that with the GT3, when they did that record under 7-minute run, we tried very hard to get it. We did setup, we did lots of practice. With this, they just did it as a benchmark, really. They didn't take it that seriously. But even so, I mean, it's not far off the magical 7-minute mark, and they reckon, actually, if they had have tried a bit harder, they could have got it even closer, which is pretty phenomenal. The chassis on the GTS is derived from the 911 Turbo model, so you get things like Porsche Active suspension management and rear helper springs as standard, while coupe and cabriolet versions also get the sports chassis, which is lowered by 10mm. Porsche torque vectoring also features, and depending on the gearbox choice, is either action via an electronically controlled differential lock or a mechanical limited slip diff. You can also get things like Porsche Dynamic Chassis Control, so PDCC, and carbon ceramic composite brakes, which are optional extras on this car. And there's also something called the lightweight pack, which they're introducing for this generation of GTS, and that shaves about 25 kilograms off the curb weight, and it does that with the carbon bucket seats, with lightweight glass, with a lightweight battery, and actually removing the rear seats entirely. Will you notice the weight saving? Well, probably not on a car that weighs at least 1,500 kilograms, but what you will definitely spot is the rear wheel steering that, curiously, comes as standard with the lightweight pack. You can spec it separately, but you can't remove it from said pack, which admittedly does seem a little counterintuitive. But yeah, 25 kilograms off a car that weighs a minimum of around 1,500 kilograms, it ain't gonna be that noticeable, I don't think. And this is related to weight, is the rear-wheel drive car. It handles far, far cleaner on the track than the all-wheel drive, which might sound obvious, but honestly, the difference when we've been back-to-backing them has been huge. On the road, the all-wheel drive's fantastic. You do have that extra security. Whether you need it or not, it's up for debate, but on the track, wow, I mean, it makes such a difference. On turning, you can feel that extra weight. Under braking, you can feel the extra weight. It's just a much purer experience, and I think it suits the way that this 911 really wants to drive. It just feels like it has a nicer balance when you've only got the rear wheels being driven. It just turns in with more conviction. You can rotate it under the brakes better. It responds to your inputs better. And actually, talking of inputs, the steering, and therefore how heavily related it is to the front suspension, this car's still running on McPherson struts, unlike the GT3, which we reviewed recently, and that's on the new double wishbone front suspension. This has got the tightest front end of any 992, 991 Carrera that I've driven. You've still got that little bit of lightness, vagueness, whatever you want to call it, around the straight ahead position. But, I mean, the steering is so well weighted and the rack is so well balanced and judged that if you didn't know about the double wishbone GT3, you would not care one bit, I don't think. This car I've got now, which by the way is a rear-wheel drive model, it's got the PDK gearbox, it's got the 8-speed PDK. It's not quite as snappy as the 7-speed in the GT3, and I think for that reason, it's probably worth going for the manual. Not many people will go for the manual, but it's a really nice box.
So, the ultimate question is whether the GTS is the sweet spot in the 911 Carrera range. Well, there's little doubt that it's the sharpest and the fastest Carrera, but not by much. The bar set by the Carrera S is so high that you have to ask, what more does the GTS actually give you for your £15,000 premium? That said, if you are offering, I'll have mine in Python Green with rear-wheel drive and the manual box. Thank you very much.